Hi, I'm Nate with Average Jack Archery Pro Shop and Range here in Phillipsburg, PA, and I'm very excited because it is 2025 bow launch day for Elite Archery, and we're going to look at the ARTUS, which is the new short axle-to-axle flagship hunting bow for 2025. So make no bones about it, I'm a big Elite Archery guy. I love their technology, I love their bows. I've owned double-digit Elite bows since 2016 when I started shooting Elite Archery. And buying them myself, and now as a dealer I get to see them a lot in my shop, and I still do shoot their bows both at the hunting and competition level. The ARTUS is a bow that we haven't seen in a while, at least in terms of the axle to axle length. The Omni a couple years ago was 32. The Kure and Ethos last year were in the 33. So this is the shortest aluminum bow they've made in a while. A lot of similarities to Elite bows we've seen in the past. I'm glad to see those have carried over. The set technology allows you to tune the limb pocket, which is basically shimming the cam at a much finer level. That still exists here on the ARTUS. We still have 1/4 inch draw length adjustment availability right here on the cam with the module. Both the performance mod and the smooth mod options are available. 70 to 90% let off right on the cam. You can shoot it with the cable stop that's always on the cam. You can add the limb stop as well to shoot it that way. A lot of different adjustments on the ARTUS that we've seen in bows of the past from Elite. I'm glad they kept that. We still have the wide limb pockets. We still have the cage riser. There's a lot of things that are very familiar to Elite shooters. The grip is the same, etc., etc. Definitely some new things for Elite this year. We'll go through the integration opportunities that exist on the ARTUS. I'm really glad that Elite has kind of brought themselves up to speed with that. A lot of integratable opportunities out there now with both Picatinny sights out front as well as integrating. In this case, this is the QAD MX2, the Elite branded version. You can bolt on any dovetail style rest, but also it's drilled and tapped in the back to accept the Kure Hamskea mount. So if you want to run the integrate Hamskea and run a limb driven integrate rest instead of a cable driven, that is now an opportunity for you as well from Hamskea. I'm a big Hamskea fan, so that's really nice to see here on the Elite. Not a whole lot of bows offer in the market that drilled and tap position on the back to accept that Kure mount from Hamskea. You always have to go with the Burger bolt-on option, but that's still totally fine, but it's nice to see it on the ARTUS. Of course, it's drilled and tapped. It can accept any sight on the market, any rest on the market that typically mounts into the sight holes, or the Burger button option there. No issues there. You can run your favorites from any company, doesn't have to be integrated. The biggest things you'll notice on the cam is Elite has now this interior floating yoke looking thing, which is definitely new for Elite. It turns it into a 3-piece string set, now into a 5-piece string set. Now the cam is pretty much identical to the SP and SPX cams that we had seen in the past. And I know that this cam was very popular on the Kure, the Ethos, the Allure, and of course the Omnia back in the day as well. Now it's been brought out into the Exalt, the Verdict, etc. So it's a very, very stable and reliable cam platform. The yoke system, I know exactly why they did it. As a shop owner, we sometimes hear the complaints when you mess with the set technology and you go too far, which is not what it's intended to be done. The cam has the opportunity to have too much lean in it, and it would rub on the near side cable in particular. With adding this yoke system on the inside, it doesn't mess with the set technology, but it gives it tons of clearance here on the inside. So now you won't have any experience with rubbing the cam on the cable, even though that was usually user error and setup error originally. You know, there are lots of different ways to combat that, but this now completely eliminates it both top and bottom. Does make it into a 5-piece string set, but unlike other manufacturers, I don't have to drop the axles to replace the string cable set. So realistically, it's another piece or two, but it doesn't add any extra labor. So with 25 to 30.5 inches of draw length adjustment and just a skosh over 30 inches axle to axle, this is going to be a hunting bow or just a great mid-range target bow for the shorter draw, lighter pounded shooters, your women, your youth, or even if you're a shorter statured guy, you could still use this as a good crossover bow. But I think it's really going to shine as a hunting bow. The brace height here is around 6 7/8, so it's still very generous, but you're gonna get good speed out of the size of these cams. We noticed that with the Allure and with the Kure and Ethos last year, and particularly the Ethos. You put the performance mod on a cam this big, you're gonna get some pretty good speeds out of it, and we'll shoot it through the chrono later. And going back to integration, one of the things that we saw on the Exalt when it got launched here at the end of target season back in August is we saw the integrate Picatinny mount on both top and bottom of the limb pocket. Elite is now launching their RAC system, which is mountable accessories both for top and bottom. And since it's a Picatinny style mount, you can mount just about whatever you want. Lots of different options in this. It's not bolt on, it's machined right as part of the pocket. So it's really rigid and really stable, and it adds fractions of ounces to the overall weight of the bow. I think it's a really nice addition to Elite. We don't really see this kind of universal mounting system on a lot of other manufacturers, or really any manufacturer. So it's a really nice addition this year. Of course, everybody at home doesn't care what the specs are. How does it shoot, Nate? That's what you're saying. You probably fast forward to this part anyway. So let's just get right down to it. I don't believe in the whole IBO, let's set it to 30 inches, 70 pounds. I like to shoot at more realistic speeds, 28, 28 and a half, 29. This bow comes 29 right out of the factory. So 2970, I did also move the cable stops in a little bit to be closer to about 85% let off. I've noticed that most of the people in my shop anyway are not shooting these bows at 90% let off. The more let off you give to a bow, the bigger the hump is at the back end of the, right before you hit the valley. That's not just an Elite thing, that's an everybody thing. So most people gravitate towards the 80 to 85% range. The real cowboys really want it at 90%. Most of them also aren't shooting 70 pounds. So let's just kind of work our way through the draw cycle here. So 2970, like I said, I've shot this bow a little bit already. I just kind of have that QAD MX2 lightly tied in. Grip feels identical to what we're used to from Elite. This draw cycle is fantastic. Now, I'm a little shaky there towards the end because this is not my draw length. But I don't know what it is with what they figured out with the performance mods on this cam. The Omnia was a lot tougher a couple of years ago. The Ethos and Kure were phenomenal last year, and this ARTUS feels exactly the same. 2970 and it's nothing. I mean, it's absolutely nothing. And I'm not a big 70-pound guy. There's that 85%. I'm not a big 70-pound guy. I usually shoot around 60 pounds for hunting. But with how this bow feels at 70 pounds, would definitely make the argument for it. Yeah, it's very, very linear, very, very smooth. No vibration. I mean, just the initial right off the gate, right where it goes off. It does not reverb. It does not continue. It's probably really loud in here because that target's like right here. And we're in a very echoey shop. But it feels very quiet. It feels, well, I know it feels very vibration free. I'm very impressed with the ARTUS. I think it's going to be a really, really good hunting bow platform, and it's going to appeal to a lot of different size people, being able to go out to 30 and a half inches of draw. Everybody wants chrono speeds. I never really understood why, but it's not a video of a bow review if you don't have it anymore. So the tag on this says up to 340 feet a second. Just drawing this bow, it feels like a high 330s. Just based on the, what the specs could be. Up to 340, I could definitely see that. It's, it's full draw length and 70 pounds, shooting a 350 grain arrow. But we're going to shoot some hunting specific arrows here at 2970. This is a 396 grain arrow. Oh, that draw cycle's very nice. Gotta get a crouch here. 396 is 299. Yeah, it's just very nice. 298. So yeah, we'll call it 298, 299. Next up to bat, we have about a 420 grain arrow. So this is very indicative where a lot of guys fall that are shooting a standard diameter arrow, 420 to 450. We'll have a 460 right after this. Yeah, it's just very, even with the performance mods. 291. 291 with a 420. That's only an 8 foot per second, 9 foot per second-ish. Man, a 7 foot per second drop. That's pretty impressive. Duplicate, 291. So yeah, that's pretty quick for 2970. It's actually really quick for 2970. Here's a 460 grain arrow. This is a kind of on the upper end of what I would consider to be a bell curve style arrow, a very normal arrow weight for guys walking out of here. 279. Wow, that's good. That's really good. I'm 280 basically. Let's see what this one does. Duplicate, 279. 279 with a 460 grain arrow at 2970 or 279, whatever I said. Basically 280. That's pretty solid. Here's 496 grains. No, I don't believe in the whole let's shoot 550, 600, 650 nonsense. This is kind of on your upper end. This is your 500 grain arrow guy, which there's a couple of them that come out of the shop for sure. Comically long for this draw length. .269. 270 feet a second, basically, with a 500 grain arrow at 2970. So basically, we've gone 300, 290, 280, 270 with basically a 500 grain arrow out of a bow that feels like this. 270, there it is. That's pretty dadgum impressive. I'm not a speed guy. We need to have the fastest thing possible. But if you're going to get that kind of performance out of those standard hunting weights, you're going to get really good performance out of your heavier hunting weights. You'll only be dropping 8, 9, 10 feet a second from jumping from, 396 to basically, a full 100 grains more. That's pretty impressive. So that's the Elite Artist new for 2025. If you have any questions about this or any of the new bows from Elite that were just launched, feel free to drop a comment down below. You can always find us on social media, Average Jack Archery, Facebook and Instagram. You can always send us an email, averagejackarchery@gmail.com. Or if you find yourself in the central Pennsylvania area and you need to call Average Jack Archery, your home Elite dealer, you're welcome to stop by and see us at 21 North Front Street in Phillipsburg, PA. Hope you're able to get outside, enjoy the sport of archery hunting if you so choose. Definitely enjoy God's beautiful creation. I really like this bow. I'm going to keep shooting it. And we'll get to see you next time.